In previous videos, we've installed Inductive Automation's ignition software, and we configured our device connection so we can talk to this Allen Bradley Compact Logix PLC. Let's create our first screen. I have one of the programs installed in the Compact Logix that we use in our classroom when we're teaching about SCADAs. And it's a basic program that doesn't have an HMI to start with. So you press the green button and the green light turns on. 5 seconds later, the green light goes out. And also after a certain amount of batches, we get a batch light. You can reset it. It's ready to go again. And I've wired our analog simulator up to simulate a level. That way we get a discrete value and an analog value. And in our last video, we were working in our web browser at localhost 8088. And this one, we're going to use Inductive Automation's Designer Launcher. So just start typing Designer and you'll see Designer Launcher come up. And we are going to add a designer. Then you're going to be prompt for which gateway to use. Now notice I have 2 of these, and this has to do with later on if you're developing on one and you're going to point it to a different IP later. But for us, we're just going to use the localhost 8088, add designer, and then I'm going to select it and open designer and enter your login. And you're going to have this sample quick project that we installed when we were setting up ignition. And it's a good thing to look at later on. We may poke in it, but for now, we're going to click new project and we're going to give this a project name. This is going to be my first program. And I'm going to create new project. And I'm going to create a new main window. I'm just going to call this my main. Create. On the left side, let's find the tag browser and hit the plus sign, and we're going to browse devices. And we're going to hit the arrow to the left of Ignition OPC UA server, and then the arrow to the left of devices. And there is station 9 that I configured in the previous video. And then we have our global tags and we have our main program tags. And if we look at our global tags, I have this level here. And over here in Studio 5000, I have this configured to come off that analog that I have the analog simulator connected to give us a simulated level. Highlight the level and click your arrow here in the middle to add it to ours. Click OK. And now there's 2 easy ways that we can bring this in. First, we have the component palette over here. And under display, we can find, I'm just going to start with a numeric label. And we'll drag it in. And then I don't even have to actually double click or do anything to put this tag on. Now I'm just going to drag this level over top of it. And notice how it turns yellow there? When I drop it there, that configures it. And this is live data, even though we're not doing anything. I'm going to take our analog simulator and go to current source mode. And I'm going to click OK and just put it on sweep cycle and run that cycle. That's going to make it where it's running up and down a value. And if we look over here, we see we're getting live data in right away. Another neat way to do it is I can also just drag this tag in. And when I drop it, you're going to think I right-clicked, but I'm not. I'm just going to let go of the left mouse button, and it brings up this. And so we have display. We could control it, or we have templates. And we're going to play with templates later. But this would be something we want to display. And let's just drop a tank level in here. And we're going to go over here. And we're simulating a 10-foot tank. So we're going to put 10 for our capacity. Now I started with that one because it's already configured and that's how we do it in our class. But also we want to replace this green button that currently starts our cycle and this red button that stops our cycle with buttons on our screen also. To do that, we're going to go back to our tab browser and hit the plus sign and browse device. And then we're going to go into devices, station 9 and controller. And no, we don't have what we need, but I want us to see this. Is currently I don't have a tag for the start or the stop. I'm going to go into Studio 5000 and I'm going to right click controller tags, new tag, and I'm going to put HMI start. And this is going to be a Boolean tag, and then right click controller tags, new tag, HMI stop. And it'll also be a Boolean. And if we go back over to Studio 5000, it's not there. But we have this refresh button right here. If we hit the refresh, we can go right back in. And now we have HMI start and HMI stop. So select both of those and we're going to add them. Okay, now let's do the same thing. We were able to go over to the right in our component palette and find something to drop in. And I think a button would be a really good thing. In fact, this momentary button should be very similar to our green button. So we're going to name this our start. And down here in our text, we're just going to put the same thing, start. And now we need to connect it to a tag. Let's take the HMI start tag and just drag it over top of it. When it turns yellow, we're going to let loose of it. And now we have a start tag. But it's not actually connected to anything. So in Studio 5000, what I have the technicians do is figure out, okay, here's the green button. And they realize that we need to put it in parallel with the green button. So I'm going to right click, add branch level, and we're going to bring a go look for a 1 down for HMI start. And now let's just drag Studio down a little bit. That way we can see both at the same time. And mainly we're only concerned with the HMI start button. And then let's take our ignition and see if we can bring it down. That way we can see a little bit of both of them at the same time. And this is not going to work initially, but just want to show us why. So I'm going to try hitting start now. And that HMI start's not working, even though our levels are still here and still working. And the reason for that is up under project, by default is communications read only. We want to switch to communications read and write. And now when I press the start button, still doesn't work. And the reason for that is not only do you have to have the communications to read write, we also have to switch from design mode to preview mode. So I'm going to click this. That puts us into preview mode. And now watch the HMI start. I press it, and we get our HMI start. Now this is a functional HMI, but it needs a lot of cosmetic work. But our goal in this video was just to get you to where you could read and write to an analog and a discrete input.